Here we go. So we're starting. And so, Ria, this is since you're the first time that you're here. Uh, as I mentioned, this is the poem. I have some. Okay, let's read the poem. Then we're gonna have some description, some exhibits that I want to share with you. So I read the Persian uh, poem, so you can get the music of it, and the words are sacred. In case of Rumi, the words of sacred is in Persian, and I will do the uh, English translation. This is poem number 2733 from Divan Shams, which is his love poems. He has another book which is called Masnavi in 6 books, and that is Sufi teaching. Here he says, ای وصل تو آب زندگانی تدبیر خلاص ما تو دانی. Oh, connecting to you is the water and essence of my life. Oh, somebody else, Maria. Let's accept. I'm sorry, I have to stop. Let's see, Maria is coming. Hi, Maria. Let's wait for Maria to join. Hi, Maria.
Hi.
How are you? Welcome
Uh,
to our circle.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be here. Great to
Yeah,
be here.
thank you for attending. Yes. So, can you just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us about uh, your experience with Rumi and what you're trying to get out of this session. What's your
Uh,
goal?
sure. Yeah. Well, I don't. I've just. I've read some poetry, and I actually went to an exhibition here in Toronto recently. And yeah, I really, uh, I really enjoy it, and I would like to go deeper with it. Be nice to learn a bit more. Yeah.
Good job. Thank you. All right. Beautiful. So we have Ria and Peter, and uh, my name, as you know, is Akbar, and I am, as it says on the screen, and I'm originally from Iran. So, as you know, Rumi did his poetry in Farsi, and the reason I got exposed to it, my dad was a Sufi master, and that's what how I'm trying to teach and spread what I learned from him. Okay, that's Rumi poem number, that's Divan Shams, the love poems of Rumi number 2733. I do it in Persian. I read Persian first, then in English. And the reason for Persian is reading is so you can get the feel and music of the words, uh, uh, and his words are sacred. ای وصل تو آب زندگانی تدبیر خلاص ما تو دانی. Oh, connecting to you is the water and essence of my life. You know the way and direction to my liberty. So here it seems that Rumi is pointing us, giving us a tip that we are here to connect to the master, to the master of the universe. از دیده برون مشو که نوری ز سینه جدا مشو که جانی. Please don't move out of my vision because you are the light of my life. Please don't leave my heart because you are my life. آن دم که نهان شوی ز چشمم مینالد جان من نهانی. When you hide from my eye, I am crying in my heart in my loneliness. By the way, you can interrupt me and stop me if you have any question. So I want to make sure everybody gets, we are together in this journey. من خود چه کسم که وصل جویم از لطف هم همی کشانی. Who am I to connect to you? You're the one that with your grace and blessing attract me and connect me to your core. This is a very important verse because it tells us that we cannot by ourselves connect to him. He has to attract us. God has to attract us. Universe, master of universe, she has to attract us. We cannot do it on our own. ای دل تو مرو سوی خرابات هرچند قلندر جهانی. O heart, don't attempt to destroy your ego by yourself, although you are a saint of the world. So the journey is to uh, maybe destroy is a very strong word to uh, to diminish your ego, uh, to reduce its effect, to tame it. That's a good word. To tame it. You know, they tame uh, wild horses. To tame it. That's a good way of saying it. کانجا همه پاکباز باشند ترسم که تو کم زنی بمانی because over there everybody is ready to lose and gamble all they have for their salvation. I'm afraid you're not strong enough to accomplish this goal. ورزانک روی مرا تو باخیش در فوش نشان بینشانی. Don't attempt this road with your ego and self. Wear clothing that has no sign of self and ego. You know, Rumi is a poet and he loves to elaborate. That's what he's doing here. He says, don't go with your ego. Check out the ego at the door. If you go with your ego, you're not going to make it. That's what Rumi says. مانند سپر مپوش سینه گر عاشق تیر آن کمانی. Don't cover your chest with a shield if you love that bow. پرسید یکی که عاشقی چیست؟ گفتم که مپرس از این معانی. One asked, what is the meaning of loving? And I told him, don't ask this type of question. آنگه که چو من شوی ببینی آنگه که بخواندت بخوانی. When you become like me, then you will see. When he calls and searches for you, then you will cry out for him. So loving and path of spirituality, it does not translate into words. It's very hard to explain it. It's like as we were talking with Vita before you guys said came. Maybe Ria was here too, and and I said, this is by the way, Sufis masters they say, you know, knowing the light is different from becoming the light. Knowing the flame of love is different from becoming the flame of light, converting to light. We are here to convert. We are not here to accumulate more knowledge. We have enough knowledge, all of us. That didn't help us, right? That's why we are here, because we want to become, we want to convert to light, we want to convert to soul and spirit. مردانه در چو شیر مردی دل را چو زنان چه میتپانی. Be a man of courage and start your spiritual journey. Why is your heart so weak and racing and pounding due to fear and anxiety? This road takes courage. The road of spirituality takes courage, and we have to bring the best courage that we have inside of us and do the best to get into the path. ای آنکه تو باغ و بوستان را از جور خزان همی رهان. If you don't talk, please make sure your microphone is off, please, because we have an echo here. Ria, I think yours is you're on. If you as soon as you want to speak, please go ahead and turn it on, and you can stop me anytime. ای آنکه تو باغ و بوستان را از جور خزان همی رهانی. Oh, you are the one that liberates and frees gardens from the hardship of autumn. This is analogy. This is analogy. We are in autumn. We are in autumn. We are in autumn. We are. If you are not spiritually alive, if one is not spiritually alive, one is in autumn. One is in. One is cold. One is. So, in order to get into the season of spring, you have to join. You have to be on the path. You have to put the effort. ای داده تو گوش پاره ای را در گفت و شنود ترجمانی. Oh, you are the one who gave a piece of meat the ability to speak and hear, tongue and ear. Sufis believe, the Sufi says, tongue doesn't speak, ear doesn't hear. If that was the case, a dead person would do it. What it speaks and what hears is their soul. The soul does it. But this is the tool. It's a tool. But the soul is the one who does it. If the tongue would talk, then a dead person would be able to talk and hear. Why they don't hear and talk? Because The spirit has gone. The spirit is doing the talking. The spirit is doing the listening. ایداد زبان انبیا را با سر قدیم همزبانی. Oh, you are the one who gave the prophets the ability to understand the secret of eternity and communicate the secret with others. ایداد روان اولیا را در مرگ حیات جاودانی. Oh, you are the one who gave the spiritual masters in death eternal and everlasting life. ایداد تو عقل بدگمان را بر بام دماغ پاسبانی. Oh, you're the one that protects the intellect with the inquisitive mind. ای آنکه تو هر شبی ز خلقان این پنج چراغ می ستانی. Oh, you are the one that every night takes the five senses from people in sleep. Basically, we have five senses, and at sleep they are all uh, not working. They are in break, basically. ای داده تو چشم گلرخان را مخموری و سحر و دلستانی. Oh, you're the one that gave the eye the stunning girls the enticing and attractive beauty. Now here, Rumi, by mentioning stunning girls, he means the beauty of the masters, spiritual masters. They are the one who are enticing and attractive and beautiful. That's what he means by that. ای داده تو عشق را به قدرت مردی و نری و پهلوانی. Oh, you're the one that gave love its strength and courage and bravery and heroism. این بود نصیحت سنایی جان باز چو طالب عیانی. This was the advice of Samai, another famous Sufi master, Iranian Sufi master. Gamble and lose your life if you want to see the beloved with your eyes. Now here ayan, that's which I translated to see the beloved. It means that what is real with our ego, what we see is a fantasy. There is other places you see, God willing, when we go further, you'll see what we are seeing with our ego is fantasy. It's not real. It's not real. The only real thing in the world, in the universe, I mean, all worlds combined, is the Master, God, Allah, Lord, whatever you want to call it. That's the one. Everything is fantasy. Everything is illusion. This is Sufi, they're saying. Now, why we don't see it this way? Because we are in the illusion. If you are in sleep, you cannot be in an awake state. We are in the illusion. That's why we do not see the real. In order to see the real, you have to be awakened from this illusion. And that's what the Sufis are trying to teach us. Get out of this illusion. Awaken from this illusion. Awaken from this sleep of the ego. Awaken from it so you can see the real thing with the capital R. شمس تبریز نور محضی زیرا که چراغ آسمانی. Oh, you Shams from Tabriz, you are pure light because you are the illumination of the sky and heavens. Now, Shams Tabriz was the guru for Rumi, Qutb, we say in Iran. And when Rumi talks about him, he talks about the person of Shams and also all the lights inside all of us. Everybody has a light inside, which Rumi refers him to Shams. And he says, you're the pure light. You're the pure light. You are the illumination of the sky and heavens. That means that Rumi tells us every one of us has light in us, has pure light inside, and we are the illumination and the sky of heaven, of sky and heavens. And why we don't see it? Because we have turned our back to it. If you turn your back to the light, you don't see light, right? So that's what we have done with the ego. We have turned our back to the sun, which is not. I mean, this not only this. If you turn back, and this when he talks about the sun, he talks about the sun of your soul, which is the sun, the sun, which is your soul, which is your spirit. That and Rumi says, and all the Sufis they say that light, this light is nothing compared to that. Nothing. That light is really bright. We can't even imagine it because we know by with the eye, and this eye cannot see that light. All right. Now, for Maria and Ria, who are the first time here, I have some nice exhibits which I think is very important, and I want to share with you. And these are very descriptive. They show you what Rumi is talking about. These are good introduction to the Sufi uh, teachings. This is how the egoic mind came into being. How egoic mind. Egoic mind is the ego, the same thing, because ego is made of mind. It's the thing that we think. It's a thought, and it's an illusion. Let's just go through this together, please. And if you have any question, please stop me and ask. Okay, this is based on Quran and other religious book, other books uh, like uh, like Torah and Bible. The whole, you know, uh, it's not. But this is from Quran, and it's you find something very similar in other books too. So, from the combination of God's spirit and human body, which is made up of soil and stinking mud, this stinking mud is a translation of uh, a word in Quran. Which is Hama Masnun. You don't have to know it, but I'm just mentioning. This is exactly the translation. From these two, we get the human being. So we are made up of God's spirit plus human being made up of soil and stinking mud. He say up there, he says, you are the light. That's God's spirit. Now, from human being, we get two entities. We get two attributes. We have the soul and the egoic mind. What is egoic mind? It's I, my name, my belongings, my identity. Everything that as I and my is ego. Simple. Now, soul took after God's spirit, and egoic mind took after soil and stinking mud. So that's why you see soul is light and egoic mind is dark because it took after soil and stinking mud. And then from egoic mind we get two attributes: lost for everything and pursuing likes. And the other one is anger, which is rejecting dislikes. These are two attributes coming out of egoic mind. And the Sufis are telling us we have to moderate it, which is the same thing I told you guys before. Tame it. You have to tame it because ego, by definition, is wild and destructive. We have to tame it. The second illustration exhibit is attachment to temporary things and being bound by time. Now, when we before we came to the world, there was nothing in the core, in our heart, there was no attachment. As soon as we come to the world and we are social, we are in a society. We learn from our parents, from our siblings, and the people around us that we need to put attachments in our uh, core, things that will make us will survive, will help us to survive. That's attachment. And this attachment and we get our sense of security, guidance, power, intelligence, and intellect from these attachments. And from these, and as soon as we put attachment in our core, like money, power, you know, friends, this and that, and we should discuss later, we have two attributes, come three attributes on these triangles. On this angle, we get resistance. On this one, we get judgment. And on this one, we get attachment to temporary things. And we're bound by time. So when you're bound by time, we have material intelligence, and we create past and future. Past and future, as you probably have heard, it's proven in psychology. It's mentioned in psychology, modern psychology, that past and future is a creation and invention of our mind, which is ego, in the language of Sufis. Now, so now we have in our journey in the path, we have to get to the place that instead of having attachment in our core, we have nothing in our core, nothingness in the core. If that's the case, then we get sense of security, guidance, power, intellect, and intelligence from nothingness. All right? From nothing in the core. If that happens, we are detached from temporary things. We have patience and we are abstinent. We have abstinence. We have gratitude and abstinence. And we have spiritual intelligence and we live in eternal present. Compare this with this triangle. Here you have material intelligence. Here we have spiritual intelligence. Here we have past and future. You are here in eternal present. There is nothing but present. There is nothing but present. We are always in the present, but the mind comes up and invents the future and the past. This one is the myth of egoic mind. This is a very good exhibit. It helps us to understand. So we have the triangle from here, right? From here. We already talked about that. So you know this, right? And so this is the triangle, right? And now we get this one on the top of it. And here, what happens here? We are attached to temporary things, and we have the ego. This is what ego does. Ego creates obstacles and looking for them. It creates obstacles and look for them. Ego looks for problem, looks for obstacle, create problem and look for them. If you have an egoic person, if there is no obstacle, they make one. If there is no problem, they make one or they look for one because that's the function of the ego, creating enemies and looking for them. The ego cannot exist without enemy, so it creates one, looks for one. We are in past and future. That's the myth of egoic mind. This is the truth of being human. That's where this is where we are attached to things. This is when we are removing the attachment. We get nothingness, which is the same as here, right? And here we are moving all the attachments to the outer of the circle. And we already talked about this. Now here we have joy without a cause. We have enthusiasm for creation, ability to change. And there is one thing which I forgot to put on that, and I do apologize. On this at this side is acceptance event of the moment. We accept the events as we see them, and we have eternal present. We are in eternal present, and we have spiritual intelligence. These are the exhibits which I hope it helps you. I do it for the people who are new so they can get a feel of where we're going. All right, now let's go to we did already this one, and thank you for your. Now, as I mentioned, I don't know if mentioned to you guys that we already have done some, uh, we have already discussed a portion of the uh, of this poem. And let me go to the place that we were last time, and we go on with this. But the good thing about Rumi is that you are never, anytime you come, you're welcome, and you're going to enjoy it. You're going to get something out, get good stuff, get good things out of it. So that's where we were last time. That's why I have 201. حکم حق گسترد بهر ما بساط که بگویید از طریق انبساط. God's law has rolled the carpet of mercy and grace out for us. Speak out in an open-hearted way. Our job is to be open-hearted, to open a space, to create a space, to accept things, to let things in. Do not fight. You shouldn't fight. This is from book 1, verse 26 to 2670. This is book 1 of Masnavi. He has 6 books. And these are his Sufi teachings, excuse me. Life or God is telling us, you connect with me in an open-hearted way, not from closure. not from reaction. So every event must open your heart. This is the meaning of opening a space around the event. So we have to open a space around the event. Closure means operating from the ego and the repeated methods of the egoic mind. When we when we follow ego, we are repeating previous learned methods, learned patterns. But Rumi says you have to make and create the solution at this moment. You are a creator, you have a soul, you have God's soul, and God's soul is all creativity. Connect to that so the answer comes from that part of you. Every moment we must expand. When we, oh, Amparo entered the waiting room. Vita, we should accept this gentleman. What do you think? Because I think we are already in the middle. Because Vita, are you there? Okay, let me see.
Oh, yes, yes, sorry.
Should I accept this Amparo? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we can accept them now and then
We'll
yeah.
see. We'll see, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hello, Amparo. Oh, Amparo, I see Amparo here. Is she already signed up?
Oh, okay, then it's good.
Hi, Amparo. We are already. It's okay. As a matter of fact, we just started. I see Amparo. She already. Uh,
Oh yeah,
Amparo,
they said hello.
Amparo, can you hear us? Can you hear me? I mean us. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Apologies. Yeah, it's okay. They say yes in the chat box.
Oh, you said okay. Good.
Okay.
Good. Thank you. I'm not. Let me open the chat box so I don't see. Let me put it right here. Okay. Apology for just no problem, man. Okay. So 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 every moment. Okay. Please pay attention. This is a little bit unfamiliar. If you're new to this, you have to get the vocabulary and the sense of words. Closure means operating from the ego and the repeated method of the egoic mind. When you're following, when we are following the method that we were taught by everybody around us, so we just refer to them and we repeat the methods and the patterns of the past, which is not going to work for now because the situation is new. The event is brand new. Event The universe created the event for you, and it gives you, and you have the resource. We have all the resource here in us from God's spirit to get the solution, but we don't use it. So that's why the Sufis say the question is inside you, the answer is inside you too, but we don't access the source of the answer. Every moment we must expand. When we feel contracted and experience pain, we must remind ourselves that we are doing wrong and that I need to correct my actions. It is God's law that we need to expand every moment and not to get contracted. That's the key. So basically, Rumi says our job as human beings is to expand the heart, and that's infinity. There is a Sufi saying that there is not enough space for God on the earth. There is not enough space for God in the heavens and sky, but there is enough space in the human heart. So we don't take ourselves we take ourselves for granted. We don't value ourselves. We have infinity inside of us. We have to access it. Another Sufi says, تو به تو به قیمت ورای هر دو جهانی. You in price you are above the two worlds, this world and the other one. چه کنم قدر خود نمیدانی. What can I do? You don't value yourself. We don't value ourselves. We have the infinity in us, and we are assessing this small, petty ego. Therefore, since we know that if we bring a thing from the material world to our core, we will contract. So we need to decide and realize that we cannot receive joy from outside things. We have to always expand our hearts. In reality, we expand. You confess that the things that my mind shows me are not in reality. When we expand, that's what the word should be here. Sorry. In reality, when we expand, you confess that things that my mind shows me are not important and that expansion is my goal. Rumi says the reason that event comes to you from universe, universe puts events in front of us because they want to teach us to expand our heart. The event is not important. The expansion is important. See, see how misguided we are. We always pay attention to the matter. Oh, to the event. Oh, why this guy did this to me? Why this happened to me? Why this person was not was rude to me? But whatever happens, whatever event comes to you, expand your heart. That's what Rumi says. Then miraculously, you will find out that your problems are solved and the world and everything looks beautiful. So the events when you get undesired when we get undesired events because the world, the universe wants to message us and tell us we are on the wrong path. We have contracted. As soon as we open our heart and expand the heart, then things will work out. The event would be uh, the event would be desirable because the message has been taken. Like the message has been taken. We have took the message. We're doing the right thing. The universe is not abusive. The universe wants to teach us something. They want to instruct us, so they do whatever it takes. And I'm telling you, the people who react more, they are more in trouble. Look at around yourself. You have, I'm sure you know people who are too egotistical and get in trouble left and right. And you can look at you can do your experience when you have been reactionary, you get in trouble. پس نیم کلی مطلوب تو من جزو مقصودم تو را اندر زمن. پس نیم کلی مطلوب تو من جزو مقصودم تو را اندر زمن. Therefore I am not the whole of that which you are seeking. I am only part of the object of your quest at the present time. This is book 3, verse 14, 16. So what we're doing here, we are in order to understand the poem which I just read, we are bringing other teachings from other sources, basically mostly from Rumi, to understand what he means by that poem. Therefore, I'm not the whole of that which you're seeking. I'm only part of the object of your quest at the present time. Here, Rumi says, "You are, you know, I have to be your goal, your whole goal, your 100% goal, object of your quest. But you just, you know, I am just a little bit of your goal. I'm not 100%. God and universe, the master is in the 100% game. He wants, God wants 100% of us. Doesn't go for 60%, 70%. That's not God's nature. Master of universe wants everything because because they want because master wants the best for us, and knows that you have to focus 100% on on God, Lord, Master, whatever you want to call it. This is the question that we wanted to ask ourselves. We need to ask ourselves: are we seeking life God completely, or seeking God is only a part of our collection of goals? Do we have a lot of different goals, and seeking God life is only a smart part of the collection of goals? I plan to get married, have babies, purchase a house, get my degree, and find a job. And then, in the middle of so many different goals, I seek God life too. See, that's what Rumi is teaching us. The way Sufis and Rumi teach us, they suggest the major goal out of life should be seeking God life, and every other goal should be a minor and subordinate to our major and main goal. And by the way, as we were discussing with Beta, if you make seeking God life your major goal, everything will fall in line. The universe will solve the other problem. The reason we don't have still issues because we are not fully focused. We are not fully focused on the big goal. 100% for to reach to seek God life. نور حقی و به حق نور حقی و به حق جزا به جان خلق در ظلمات وهمند و گمان نور حقی و به حق جزا به جان خلق در ظلمات وهمند و گمان. You are the light of God and a mighty drawer of the soul to God, but most people are in the darkness of vain imagination and false opinion. That is book 5 verse 23. شرط تعظیم است تا این نور خش گردد این بیدیدگان را سرمکش. Reverence is the necessary condition of this goodly good light. Reverence is the necessary condition for this godly good light to cure the blindness of these sightless ones. نور باید نور یابد مستعد تیزگوش کو نباشد عاشق ظلمت چو موش. The ready sharp-eared man gains the light who is not in love with darkness like a mouse and has the potential to receive the godly light. It's all about light, my friend. It's all about light. So he says here this the wise man gains the light who is not in love with darkness. So as long as we are involved with the ego, we are in darkness. Like a mouse. You know, mouse love darkness. Okay. Every human being has the potential to be the light of God and attracts other people to his light. If you probably you have encountered people who are godly and spiritual and you're attracted to them without even speaking. They don't say anything. You just want to be with them because they are attractive. You know, they are like a magnet. It means if you keep your core empty and you expand your heart, you don't look at other people who have big ego and vain imagination. As soon as we empty our core, we realize that we are from the essence of God's light. Can't we replace the darkness of vain imagination and all and false opinion with the light of God? Rumi indicates that reverence is the necessary condition. Reverence means surrender. Rumi always repeats that the necessary condition is reverence and surrender. Reverence means that we don't use our mind, our minor intellect, which comes from our ego, and work with the empty core and the expanded heart and utilize God's wisdom, which is my major intellect. Until this beautiful light, which is the intelligence of presence, heals, until this beautiful light, which is the intelligence of presence, heals the blindness of the egoic mind. Remember, we talked about it before. If you have ego, you're going to repeated patterns, old patterns, right? Patterns which doesn't work. But as soon as and you basically so those patterns come from minor intellect, which is the intellect of the ego. But as soon as we expand our heart, then we access God's wisdom, which is inside of us, which is that sun that we mentioned before, which is called major intellect. And until this beautiful light, which is the intelligence of presence, heals the blindness of the egoic mind. So basically, the egoic mind is blind, goes to the stale and repeated and old patterns, but the reverence and surrender connect us to the source of light and major intellect, which connects us to the wisdom of the universe. Think about it. The master of the universe is controlling and managing the whole universe. You think we cannot do our small things? Just think about it. So let's go and connect to this to the source, to the major intellect, which is the source of wisdom of the universe. But who finds the light? If we operate from our egoic mind and think and act from that location, he does not receive the light of God. We should have the potential to receive the light, and every day and everybody has the potential, but we have to bring it to our life and demonstrate it. The light is in everybody. Every person you meet has the light, but you have to access it. You have to access it. That's what we are doing this. Rumi teaches us how to access it. He who is not in love with darkness, like a mouse, and has the potential to receive the godly light. We act like a mouth and go from one hole to another, from one thought to the other. Now you have to ask yourself, do I expand my heart and become receptive and open my ear, not this body ear, but this the inside ear, the ear of our soul. What we're doing, are we listening with the ear of our soul and opening that ear so we can get the message here, the message of the master of the universe. That's what Rumi says here. سوز چشمانی که شب جولان کنند کی طواف مشعله ایمان کنند. The weak-eyed, bat-like ones that go about at night, how shall they make a circuit round the crescent of the faith? Right? شرط تسلیم است نکار. This is, by the way, I'm sorry. This is from book 5, verse 26. You can go and read these things and contemplate the bottom. شرط تسلیم است نه کار دراز سود نبود در زلالت ترکتاز. What is required is self-surrender, not long toil. It is useless to rush about in error. Usually ego puts us into long toil, doing nothing, working for nothing, running around like a rat race. In English, we call it rat race, right? Ego puts you in a rat race status. Just go around, nothing accomplished. But that's what Rumi says here. This is book 6, verse 41-23. من نجویم زین سپس راه اسیر پیر جویم پیر. Henceforth I will not seek the way to the ether, the highest celestial sphere. I will ask the Pir. I will seek the Pir. I will seek the Pir. The Pir here is a Rumi, somebody like Rumi. If you can find a guru in this earth, in this your time, you're lucky. My father was one of them, but we lost him in 2005. He was a Pir. He was a guru. He was the guide. If you want to say in English, you can say a guide. You can say somebody who has already gotten to the as to the summit of the mountain. He can take you with him or with her, right? The summit of the mountain. He says, Rumi says, I'm looking for one. And by the way, the spirit, the God spirit in all of us, that's another guru, another guide that can guide you. But for now, since you don't have access truly, we are not in deep, we don't truly have access to it. So you gotta be careful, and you can use Rumi as your guide. He's a very good guide, by the way, great guide. تدبیر کند بنده و تقدیر نداند تدبیر به تقدیر خداوند نماند. Egotistical individuals with their egoic mind plan and think and don't know their destiny and God's plan for them. But they don't know that destiny and God's plan will prevail and will eliminate and defeat the individual's plan and arrangement. Here Rumi says, don't think that you with your tricks and smartness can accomplish anything, because at last ultimately the destiny will win. the destiny will win. The master plan of the universe will win over our small and petite plant, petty plant. بنده چو بیندیشد پیدات چه بیند حیلت بکند لیک خدانی نتواند بنده چو بیندیشد پیدات چه بیند حیلت بکند لیک خدایی نتواند. When an individual think it's obvious that he will see, he tries to deceive and think that operate based on egoic mind, but cannot do God's work. He says, when we think we try to deceive and come with tricks and being smart, and excuse my friend, smart ass, that's the better word, to get things done. But we're not going to make it. And you see a lot of smart, worldly, smart people, they don't make it because the destiny is the winner. The universe is the winner. گامی دو چنان آید گامی دو چنان آید کوراس نهاده است وانگاه که داند که کجاهاش کشاند. He takes a few correct steps and operates from the expansion of his heart and opens the space inside himself, then goes back to his old ways and thinks and operates from ego and things, and God knows where he will end up. So this is, by the way, from Divan Shams, his love poems of Rumi. This is number 652. And so, here Rumi says sometimes, most of the time, this is most of us like this. We do some spiritual, we take some spiritual steps. We do right things. We go toward the master, toward God, toward the Lord, and we accomplish a little bit. Then we go back to our old habits and old patterns. See, this way, that way. We need consistency. We need consistency. That's what Rumi says here. Okay. Here Rumi tells us that the individual works with his egoic mind and doesn't know the direction of the destiny and does know his own welfare and well-being. We think our interest is in accumulation for more material gains, but contrary to our thinking, our welfare and well-being is our destiny, which is surrendering to God's plan. The ego says, go make more money, make this, make that, add. But Rumi says, no, that's not going to work for you. Your best plan is to surrender to God's plan, to destiny, what God wants for you. If destiny brings an event into your life, you should expand the space in your heart and get the message of the event. Then you realize that the plans you arranged in your mind were all to your disadvantage, and don't repeat this method anymore. If you think and operate from an egoic mind, since you don't know your destiny, you will not accomplish any worthy goal. Therefore, the planning of the egoic mind attempts to accumulate and have greed for everything. Now what we are supposed to do now? We're attached to a bunch of things like our money, our family, our close friends, our body, our beliefs, our religion, our country. We want to increase all these things and protect them so they don't decrease. Therefore, these things are at our core and life, and this is deceiving. Our core should be life and God. Doing God's work is operating from an expanded heart and creativity. Lastly, we take a few correct and straight steps and then later return to our old patterns and ways, and we end up in horrible places. Miss Beta, we are at 8:02 p.m., ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, maybe we can have a few questions. One of my question, if I can go first, anyone else also, you can, raise your hand or just, I typed it in the chat box too, that you were mentioning how once we receive the light of the universe, the light of the master, 100%, not like half-heartedly, but committedly, all of it. So my question was, at that point, do we still go from thought to thought? Because thoughts, they never cease. But you're describing how the egoic mind is always going from thought to thought to thought. So it's kind of like lost. But that's the question that came to my mind, because even afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vitajan, you're still going from thought to thought, but you're not bound by it. You're not bound by. You're not prisoned by your thoughts. You are above your thought. Let me tell you one thing. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, I have evil inside me, but I have control over it. Yes, yeah, because as long as this in this world the ego exists, you cannot. When we say we reduce the ego, we tame it. You cannot eliminate it 100%, obviously. But you are on top of the ego, not the other way around. You see, because now, Vitajan, we are like a donkey. Excuse my French, by the way, and ego is sitting on top of us. That's what it is, right? Because we are the servant of the ego, aren't we? I mean, that's whatever the ego wants, I do. So that's I'm the servant. You want the ego to be your servant. So you get on top of it. Yes, you think, but the think doesn't run you, the thought. You run the thoughts because you are above and beyond. You are the master now. You have liberated yourself from these patterns. It comes to you, but it doesn't affect you. You don't. I mean, so basically even the master even the masters, like, 'cause I lived by my dad, I saw him, he would, he wouldn't, he said, oh, there is all, I am dealing with evil too, but I got it. One time I tell you, I'll be honest with you, as a matter of fact, I was in a car with him. He never said this. For some reason, he told it that day. I don't know why. I mean, yeah, I don't get it, Steve. But he told me, what we're talking about something, and he says, son, we already killed our ego. He told me like this. We already killed our ego. He said he killed it. He got rid of it. Basically, he was he was he was above it. See, you it gonna if it doesn't run you, then you're good.
Mhm.
Right now, Vita John, we are so involved with ego. Basically, let's say ego is like a pool. We are inside of it, my dear, and moves you everywhere you want to. But as soon as you come out of it, then you see what he's done to you. Look at look at what ego has done to our lives and others. As a matter of fact, thank God we're here. Hopefully, we have not as much ego as those people. But the people who are run by ego, look at their lives. Destroyed, totally destroyed them, totally. Because it is, it's a destructive machine. That's what it does. It's made to be destructive. That's what its job. So yeah, you'll be above. Did I answer your question, by the way?
Yeah, that's very good. I think it's also what it says when you have expanded heart and creativity. I was going to ask you what that creativity means, but I think, yeah, you
Yeah,
answered.
creativity. Because creativity, it comes the the wisdom of the universe runs your life. Our life, is God willing, our life. You don't work from the pattern because see, ego is patterns. See, it's like, give me an example. They told us if somebody insults you, you have to insult back, right? That's a pattern, right? That's a pattern. But the people who are spiritual and they're connected, they get the answer from the source. It says to do this, do that, go this direction, go, because they're connected to the solution. They're connected to the source of solution. We are connected to a repeated, stale, stupid, which Rumi calls minor intellect, by the way. We are totally lost, my friend. Totally lost. If 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 I have heard from Sufi man, they say if we know how much, as a matter of fact, I think Prophet says if people know how much uh, ego is destroying and people's life, they wouldn't go to sleep at night. I mean, it's it's damaging. It's really bad for us. But let's pray that we be safe from ego. How about that? I
Yeah,
don't know how to say it really. I'm just yeah. Anyway.
that
Any
was
question?
good. Thank you.
You're very
Yeah,
welcome, my
let's see
dear.
if anyone. Go ahead, everyone. Ria, Maria, Amparo.
I don't have any questions. I just wanted to say thank you. That was very beautiful what I was able to pay attention to. And very aligned with my own values, and it's very soothing to hear tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Ria, you want to say anything? Any comments? Anything you want to mention?
Oh, it was just really nice to listen. Yeah, it was nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. How about you, Amparo?
Oh, that was me. I was the first person that spoke.
I beg your pardon?
I was the first person that spoke.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. All right. So you guys have a wonderful holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and see you guys next time, okay? God bless you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Same to you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye-bye.